Hey neighbor, welcome back to ARTV. My name is John, and it's time for a review of the debut album by the indie pop duo Magdalena Bay called Mercurial World. It's a title that refers to the oddities of life, mercurial, that is, how strange our world can be, and if their visuals are any representation of what the music would actually sound like, then I think they do a good job at baiting us into listening. I was first brought into their world in late 2020 after one of my Patreon supporters requested a review of their most recent EP at that time, A Little Rhythm and a Wicked Feeling, and I was totally sold. If they're the fishermen, then I am on the line, just desperate to be reeled in. Tracks like Airplane and Killshot showed off their versatility of sounds and how they could make synth pop feel like a breath of fresh air, like they weren't copying anyone else at all. It was their own unique lane, influenced by music of the 90s and the 2000s, and also artists from King Crimson because they're both fans of prog rock, and of course more modern takes like Grimes and Charlie XCX. The duo was comprised of Micah Tenenbaum and Matthew Levin. They've been together for about 10 years, although Magdalena Bay was their second project. The first was a bit more rock focused, and now they've decided to go the experimental pop route. And again, I've said this so many times, this is what I'm looking for in pop, because pop does not need to be a dirty word. It doesn't need to mean simplistic. I knew I had to review this album from the moment I hit play. I was immediately on board, and just putting it out there, I was stoned the first time I listened, and I've heard that that helps. That's not me encouraging anyone to be under the influence. I'm just saying it helped enhance my experience, and going back to it stone cold sober, it hits just the same. I'm just kinda happy that was my first moment with the album. Mercurial World is an all-encompassing album that definitely has a start and finish, as evidenced by the ironic title of the opening track, The End, and the final track being the beginning, but in between there's an ever-flowing and evolving story, and I think that the way these songs transition in and out of each other have such an immaculate flow. I'm telling you, my mind was blown with just how seamless the transitions can feel. Hypnotic melodies will carry you away into the clouds in a daydream, but also will ground you with the reality of emotion and introspection and just trying to be there and make sense of things that have happened to friends, as evidenced by the lead single Chaeri. After hearing that track, I was definitely sold on wanting more, and then Secret's Your Fire just pushed it even further. It's perhaps the catchiest song that I've heard all year, with those bright, glistening synthesizers, a huge booming beat that's also airy and effervescent at the same time. I needed more in my life, and this album delivered to the nth degree because of how well it accents those singles and makes them fit and hit even harder in the context of the full album. Another thing about Magdalena Bay that I find incredible is how juicy the production is. It's just so lush. As you fall into these rhythms, you can hear everything from the bass to the guitar to the drum loops to the shining synths. It all falls together with every note being exactly in its right place, but also feeling a bit playful at the same time. There's a wide net that they're casting here, but it all falls under the same umbrella because, again, of how well they pull off those transitions, and also some key changes that just make me lose my mind and drool. Perfect example, Dawning of the Season. The key change at the end of that track feels rewarding in so many ways. It's a little thing, but it works incredibly well. And then for it to play out so incredibly well, straight into Secret's Your Fire, you don't even know that the tracks have changed, yet there you are, sucked right into that world. And again, one of the catchiest songs that you will find in 2021. There's so many smooth little noises that are just playing up and highlighting what's going on musically. I'm talking like 8-bit stuff. It might almost feel like you're in the world of a video game getting lost. The title track, track 2, right after the excellent intro to the album that definitely gets a little bit doomy into the world but playful at the same time. We move into Mercurial World, the song, and I hear those glitchy synthesizers that are just flying out into hyperspace. It definitely borders on that style of Charlie XCX pop, but it never goes full-blown to the point where it feels like they're emulating something else. Crunching synths and guitars embed your head immediately on You Lose. It's a hook that you will definitely know by the second time it rolls around. It's instantly memorable. You feel such a connection with a big sense of bombast and theatricality, yet it's soothing at the same time. And that's kind of a hard mannerism to pull off, yet they sell it so well not only there, but all throughout this LP, including some of the other standout tracks like Hysterical Us that basically walks on water, and Prophecy that adds a bit more of a string and symphonic element to the mix to make things just feel that much more elegant and classy. Memories come soaring out of a box like lightning bugs flying into the night sky on Dreamcatching. It's just such a nostalgic feeling tune that hits right in the feels, but also it's forward thinking. I love the narrative that they craft. It's so incredibly smooth as butter. It's just a knife gliding over the mix at all times, perfecting everything. Domino is relentless as it features more traditional instrumentation with a big buzzing bass line that makes itself another staple of this album. And also the final moment, the final taste in our mouth that we get is the beginning, and this just feels like they're turning over a new leaf, but also staying true to the album as they just let their wings unfold and fly closer to the sun, only for the album to start right back over again in a perfect seamless loop. Guys, even the more out there songs like Follow the Leader with its shifty vocals, and also the transitory track Halfway, which is honestly one of the best interludes that I've heard in a very long time, they continue to blow me away. I think they'll do the same for you. This is a self-made album with Matthew handling the engineering, the production, and of course him and Micah writing these songs together. I'm just taken back. It's a breath of fresh air, an incredible album that bangs top to bottom. I highly recommend that you go hear this thing immediately. There's a link to stream it down below. I'm so excited to be talking about an album that I love this dearly already, and I have to give this album a glowing perfect score, 5 out of 5. I honestly don't know how many people are actually going to see this video since it is on a smaller act, but if you enjoy seeing coverage of smaller artists like this in dedicated videos, I can't do it all the time, but if you want to see it more, please hit that like button, let me know with a comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can check out my review of the EP on screen here, tap here for another recent review, all of my socials in the description, and I'll be back soon for more on ARTV.